Okay, so, and I remember I did an interview with Duck after Brick got killed, and yeah, man, it was sad. It was sad, but once again, Duck was determined to stay in Chicago and so forth. And Slide happens, and he's still doing music, but I think he left the music, the label at one point, and I think he was going to sign with Rap a Lot or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah. And then he drops Dead Bitches.
Hard.
When you first heard that song, what'd you think?
This bitch go hard. That bitch go stupid. You know you fuck with it too. You nod your head because you know you like that song too.
No, I mean, it's a big song. I mean,
For sure.
he says a lot of shit. The video, the imagery of it, it was a perfect storm put together in a form of music.
Yeah.
I mean, you yourself, were you dissing your dead, the dead homies?
Yeah, I got my fair share.
Not the dead homies, but your enemies, dead homies and everything.
Yeah, I got my fair share of dissing back in the day.
Okay. Did you continue doing it the whole time, or did you stop at one point?
No, after I do my shit, I fell back off that shit.
Listen, there's always been dissing in hip hop. It started from the 70s, right? And, people like Tupac will do shit like, yeah, that's why I fucked your bitch and so forth. But Chicago really started playing with the dead, I felt, first.
Yeah, we invented that shit.
You guys invented it. How do you personally feel about that now that you're a little bit older and can look back on it?
It's like, shit. You want to disrespect somebody, that's the easiest way to kick something off. But it's like, as you get older, it's like, damn. Like my area, we weren't really doing that shit at first, you feel me? That shit took a toll when motherfuckers got to get disrespectful. And it's like, you start thinking of what's the worst way I could hurt your feelings or make you mad? Because I don't like you, you feel me? You're an enemy, you're an op. First motherfucker like, fuck your dead grandma who's kids. Fuck your grandma, fuck your mama. Oh no, we gonna say fuck the dead person. Like, when that shit kicked off, it had us like, shit, fuck it, that's how we coming. But then as you get older, it's like, yeah, we ain't even supposed to be playing with the dead. That ain't, you know what I'm saying, nothing, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, you know what I'm saying, that's what it was. We roll with the punches, that's what it is. But as you get older, everybody grow up and be like, yeah, that shit wasn't about nothing, you shouldn't even, you know?
Well, yeah, then other regions started doing it. Jacksonville started doing it, and people
everybody
started filming
copied us.
videos and graveyards and all types of stuff. And
yeah, they had to copying us.
Yeah. Well, Dead Bitches comes out, and then a short time later, the situation happens with Duck in the Gold Coast. Now you said that Duck usually moves militant when he moves around. But I guess that was a situation where he had to go shopping for his son or something like that?
Yeah, nephew.
Nephew, got it.
No, I'm saying nephew like his son, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. My bad. When you first heard the news, how'd you feel?
Shit, hopped on my car, made my way downtown. It wasn't like, I ain't had time to feel like shit. Like, I was in the house with my kids and my girl, you feel me? And my motherfucker called me like, riddle, you feel me? And I ain't hung up, hopped in the car, you know what I'm saying, trying to make sure, you feel me, see what's going on. Got to the hospital, like 100 people outside and shit, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess he was taking an ambulance, but by the time he got there, he had passed away.
Yeah, he bled out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that killed me when I heard it. It was a really, really sad day because I interviewed him twice, and man, I fucked with him. I fucked with the music. I fucked with him as a person. I mean, we never really got to hang out like that. I'm not going to say that, but there's a certain level of connection you make with someone when you sit down with them for 2 hours, and you get into their life and their stories and everything else like that. And I just felt like he always had that star potential, and you saw glimmers of it along the way, but he was still actively pursuing the music, and all it took is another 1 or 2 big songs, and it would have, he could have gone over the top. He could be the next Lil Durk or, whoever else, like on a real large scale basis. So when his life got cut short like that, it killed me, man. And then I ended up interviewing his mom, and that was like the first interview that she did. And she's crying throughout the interview and everything else like that. And it was just like a very sad moment.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
What made you interview OG?
There was something that happened on the news in Chicago where she was there talking about the situation. So she had already put herself in front of the camera. You see what I'm saying? And she was already speaking about it publicly. Now, this was on TV. It wasn't on an interview basis. So I just figured, well, if she's already putting herself out there and wants to, talk about it, and when you lose your son, I mean, I don't even know how to put my head around that. So we reached out. We said, listen, we saw you on TV. Did you want to sit down and do an interview? She said, yes, I do. So that's what started it.
So she could tell us a story, basically, right?
Exactly.
Now, that's the thing, though. Like, you say you fuck with Duck, right?
Yeah. For
the time you met him, the 2 interviews, you did interview his mama.
Yeah.
Then I'll be trying to understand why you be doing interviews with people, and then it's like you always bring them up like in a weird way though. Like, oh yeah, I told her. Like, how can I put it, man? Like, it be weird as hell. Like, I see you do something with Boosie or somebody, and then you just bring up Duck like, yeah, I told him to leave. Yeah, like, and keep it like exploiting it or whatever. I feel like for content though, you got his OG. You feel me? Still outside the store. You talked to him before he passed. After the OG, I feel like what's the point of keep? You feel me? Bringing it up, like.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer that for you. I think that's a fair question. Well, because look, when people pass, everyone who watches it is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in life, you have to learn lessons. And you can't just look at things and say, well, that has nothing to do with me, because everything has something to do with you. And when it started with his mom, it was like there was a lot of people that were in the same situation as Duck. They're out there acting reckless, out in the street, carrying guns, shooting, everything else like that. And they don't think about how it affects their whole family. So I wanted to show his mom and say, look, when you pass, it's done. You don't have to worry about anything else. But this is what you leave behind. Your mom is going to be crying. And although she might not be on camera like on Vlad TV, she's going to be crying, and that's something that she's going to have to deal with every single day for the rest of her life. So before you go outside and do something, think about the repercussions of this. And let me show you the repercussions on video. And the same thing about me mentioning it. It's not really for clout, because I've never done a whole interview about that, but I'll mention it because ultimately you have direction of your own life. You look at, let's say, a Chief Keef. He got hot in Chicago. He knew that he had a bunch of beef and everything. He moved to California and never came back. He just did his first concert in Chicago 15 years later.
Yeah.
15 years later, he finally came back and did a big, arena show and everything else like that. You look at a Dirk. Dirk moved away. He moved to Atlanta. Yeah, he comes back every so often. And I just want to really hammer it home that people need to learn lessons from the dead, from people that pass away, people who, may have not made the best decision at the time because of ego, because of no one's going to tell me where I need to do. This is my city. I'm going to do whatever. But you take a step back and you're not a tree. You can move around. You can go anywhere in the world. I like the people I mentioned, I know lots of people that basically said, listen, this is too crazy for me. I'm going to go start my life somewhere else. And then you see it the other way. You see people like the Alpos of the world who go and kill a bunch of people, do a bunch of prison time, go to witness protection. Oh, but they want to come back to Harlem and they want to be the big man and they want to show off. And then they get killed in Harlem a couple months later. So my whole thing is there's so many people that DM me and say, hey man, listen, watching an interview made me change my life. And I'm alive right now because of watching this interview or that interview. And I just think that's important. And if people want to get mad at me and people think I'm clout chasing or whatever else, that's fine. I could deal with that. But I just want to put out positive messages, because when you even watch my interviews, like, for example, like if you watch my interview with Fulio, who just got killed, our first interview was like, hey, I know that you and Young and Ace had these problems and, people have gotten killed and so forth, but can you ultimately put it aside and work it out? And he was like, yeah, maybe we can. And then when I interviewed Young and Ace, same question. I know you and Fulio have had some problems, but can y'all work it out? Can y'all get on the phone and whatever? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? And there's been situations where conversations like that, when you put it out in the universe, people start to think and like, yeah, okay, let's just squash it. Let's go on and live. We got kids, you got kids. We don't have to be best friends, but we could go on with our lives and we could become old and everything else like that. Fulio never had kids, and I remember talking to him about that. Like you think your life is cool right now, wait till you have kids. You'll really get to see how cool life is. And he never got to experience it. He was 26 years old. I went through, after that murder, and counted 19 people that I interviewed have been killed violently over the years. All of them Black men. Most of them in their 20s, early 30s. That's not normal. That's not regular.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So with me, I'm trying to reach out to somebody that's watching it, and millions of people watch.
To change their life.
Yeah, to potentially change their lives. And like I said, every day I get a dozen emails of people that say, something, watching this has made me think of it a little bit different.
But to get what I was saying, like, you have to look at it like this. They can learn from what the situation that happened with Duck. Yeah, see what happens to my homie. He says, mama on that crying. You don't want your mama crying. It's like, you saying it ain't clout chasing or for content, whatever, but they can watch and learn from your previous interview with the mama or the situation that happened. It's like, you throw it out there to a person just to see what their reaction gonna be, get their opinion on somewhere. Their opinion don't matter. Like, you gonna learn from something, you gonna learn from the situation and learn from the mother. Like, prime example, the Boosie shit. You ask Boosie about all this other shit in other cities, but then you ask him about what's going on in his city, you let him tell you, I don't comment on what's going on in my city. What the fuck you speaking on other people's shit for?
That's not true. That's not true. In fact, in our last interview, we got into a deep discussion about how in Baton Rouge, 95% of murders happen because of rap beef.
But did he speak on? I ain't see the last interview, so I'm talking about for the shit previous. I ain't see the last one, but any other interview, he literally, I know you know what I'm talking about. He told you, I don't want to speak on nothing at my city. Ask me about somebody else's city.
Yeah,
come on, man. That's police as hell. Like, you gonna speak on something you have nothing to do with. You gonna get you know what I'm saying? You speak on beef you ain't involved in. That's police as hell.
I mean, I understand why, from your point of view, you would think that way. But, when I sit down with Boosie, we talk about everything that's happening in the rap world. And that just happens to be one of the topics.
And look, people look at him like that's Big Bro Boosie or Uncle Boosie, whatever the case may be. He a street nigga, you feel me? Like, when y'all get doing that, it make motherfuckers look at him different, like, you weird as hell. You speaking on everybody else shit in a city you not from, you barely been to. I mean, I ain't gonna say barely been to. You don't come to for real unless you got a show. And speak on the street politics, that's weird, gang. That make it exploiting what's going on in our city. If me and you sit right here and talk about some NBA young boy shit, or talk about what's his brother, Ivory, his best friend that passed, we talk about stuff like that, it'll look crazy as hell. I'm not from there. What the fuck is I'm speaking on that for? So when that shit happen, it look crazy as fuck. Like, what the fuck? Like, mind your business. You not from Chicago, so why are you speaking on Chicago politics? You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Everybody can voice their opinion. But it's like, what the fuck is your opinion matter if you're not from this city? If you're not going to do nothing to step in and stop it, or try to, let me get him a deal and tell him to move out here, or let me tell them, y'all should stop that. I done went through this in my city. Let me try to show y'all a different way, or let me try to help you get a deal and move your family. But instead, I knew he was going to die when I heard that song. What the fuck type shit is that? Motherfucker hear his song and say, like, that's crazy.
No, I respect your point of view, man. I understand, especially with you being so close to the situation. I could see, and I know what you're talking about. He said that the first time he heard dead bitches, he knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah, that's like, you first, I fuck with the song. Yeah, like, come on, man, like, that shit, like, come on, man, that shit crazy, like. And then you not speaking on nothing you got going. I ain't saying speak on no police ass shit, but talk about the shit going on in your city. How you could better your city, or how you could stop whatever young boy or whoever he into it with going on. Like, that's your city, you feel me? Like, that should be crazy when people speak on street shit they ain't involved in, gang.
I mean, unfortunately, Chicago has kind of become the poster boy for this type of thing.
Yeah, everybody follow us. Yeah. Everybody do what we do. I don't care what nobody say, no matter where you at. You know, I ain't gonna lie, except for like California, like West Coast, I ain't never really see too much of them doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to down south, like you say, Florida, New York, you know what I'm saying? I can't really say Atlanta, but Florida, New York, and all that Ukraine shit, like a lot of that shit, man, that shit be copying us. You feel me? But it's cool because we influence a lot of people, but you feel me? Like, that shit just, you get what I'm saying, man.
No, man, listen, I respect your stance. Like I said, you're very close to the situation. You and Duck were close. You're absolutely entitled to feel that way. And like I said, I'm sorry for your loss, man. And I know why you feel that way, and I respect it. Well, you said that the dead bitches had nothing to do with Duck getting killed.
Then, like, it's worse songs than dead bitches. You feel me? Like, people talking about it happened over a song, like, if you pay attention to the case, they saying it happened over a female. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of shit play a part in that shit. So, you can't really say what it's really over. Like, if you in the mix, you know what you know, and you not, just go off what the case say. Whatever, you know what I'm saying?